Hi there, my name is Johnny Lyle. I'm going to show you in this quick lesson how you can create an awesome logo using artificial intelligence, an online tool, for very, very little money. Now, why should I be the one telling you about this? Well, my background is I ran a brand consultancy for 22 years. We were very successful. We created thousands upon thousands of different brands right across the world, mainly in the sports and leisure industries. And I've used that experience now to compress it all into one little lesson or a few little lessons about how to create a brand. And this is the logo element of it. So I'm going to show you, talk you all the way through that. It's absolutely simple. You'll be able to follow it dead easily. And at the end of it, you'll have a logo that you can be absolutely proud of. Okay, let's go. So I'm going to show you how you can create a logo using an artificial intelligence tool online called LogoJoy. And you'll be able to create a completely professional logo. I've done quite a few of them on this recently, and it can take as little as 5 or 10 minutes to create something that's every bit as professional as you'd get from an awful lot of design companies, but at a fraction of the cost. So what's LogoJoy? It's an online tool. You look at it, it looks very simple. Literally what you do is you put in your company name and then you say which bits you like, and it starts to generate your logos. But I'm just going to show you a couple of the little bits about it. They're now claiming they're the most popular logo maker in the world. They've already created 1 million different designs of people, and they're running at a 98% customer rating. I'm not surprised, because it's an absolutely superb product. Average time to design a logo, 45 minutes. I've genuinely not managed to make it take 45 minutes. If it's going to take me much longer than 5 minutes, I'd be surprised. But I'm going to go through it and generate 3 or 4 designs and show you, how easy it is to use. The good thing is you can do as many versions as you want. So if you go to a normal design company, you pay loads and loads and loads for lots of different designs. Some design agencies will only give you one option. Others will just give you hundreds. My suspicion is now that there's an awful lot of people who are actually claiming they're designers and just using tools like this to actually generate their products. And I'll show you why in a sec. Here's some examples of ones they've done in the past. You wouldn't class them as being world class. You wouldn't say this is super, this is up there with Nike or Adidas, but they're every bit good enough for 99% of the businesses out there. They're an awful lot more professional than I think if you try to do it yourself, unless you're a designer. They come in tons of different formats. That's the other thing. Now this is the bit that really strikes me, is that if you pay for the premium version, you get absolutely everything. Now I've got it hidden here. So if you pay for the premium version, you get, I'll cover that in a sec, you get all of these. You get high-res logos, vector files, different color options, brand guidelines, and the bit that's amazing is you get the full social media kit as well. You get all of the graphics, all of the headers and everything you'd need for all the main social media channels. The amount of work that saves you is worth the money anyway. And then obviously with them you get full copyright ownership as well. So they seem to be very good if you ask for help. They've got lifetime phone support. They guarantee it's unique. They won't put the same thing up twice. And this is the bit I love, is you can just keep trying it. You just keep trying different designs, and you only have to pay when you're happy for it and you actually want to start using it. So again, a little bit more about it. There's the team. Now they say that they're using artificial intelligence. So what that means is as more people choose individual designs, their machine system learns so that it's more likely to generate you a logo that you're going to like. Which, if that's the case, it's absolutely incredible. Now, as I said in the intro, I ran a brand consultancy for well over 20 years, and we won an awful lot of awards. And I'm really vouching for this. I'm actually saying that I think it's a really good product, and I'll show you why now when it comes to the prices. What would you expect to pay for a logo if you went to a design agency? $500, $1,000, $2,000, $10,000. It's easy to spend when you hear about people like British Petroleum redesigning their logo and it cost them $220 million. Then you start to think this is actually looking like pretty good value. So what it does is there's 3 key options for you. The basic, which I find it hard to recommend really unless you're only ever going to use it online. It isn't really strong enough to actually work. Now the premium one, the one that everyone goes for, I think really is this, where you get literally everything. You get all of the sort of like, you even get brand guidelines with a color breakdown. If you're happy with what you've got, you don't actually need this enterprise version. What that does is it actually lets one of the designers loose on it. So if you can actually talk it through with them and then make some extra changes too. But if you're happy with what the system produces, which I think you probably will be, then you can just go straight to this middle one, this premium version. Now I'll show you an example of what it downloads. So this is for one here called, I can show you the logo there. It's called SailPast. Now when it downloads, you can see here you get the EPS, PDF, PNG and SVG, which is pretty much any format you would ever need. And we used to charge quite a lot of money once we've done the logo just for supplying it in all these different formats. But it all gives you this little text file here, which gives you the actual fonts, but also it gives you the hex colors as well, so you can actually recreate it online. And if you've got any form of design package, you can actually you can convert the hex colors into CMYK, so you can actually then get it printed afterwards, or set it up properly so you can get it afterwards. But look at this is incredible. So social media assets. So in here, you've got the cover photo for the for Facebook. You've got the profile picture for Facebook, and they're all done to the right size, so that you don't even need to do any work. You can literally just drop them straight in. So I think that is pretty cool. So I'm going to show you now and actually show you how it works. The logo I want to design is for a friend who has got what's called an English shepherd's hut in their farm, and they want to start letting it out. So for those of you who don't know what a shepherd's hut is, I've been and found one, and theirs is exactly like this. It's a little wooden cabin, sits on 2 wheels. It looks like a little caravan, little trailer, little shed, little hut. That's what we're trying to create a design for. You can see it, so it's very lovely pale blue colour. It's really nice and quite twee, and it's the sort of thing now that that are renting really well if you've got one of these somewhere in a lovely rural location. So that's what we're trying to create. So it needs to be quite soft. It needs to be quite, I think, really quite pretty. Really is what we're trying to create for a logo. So let's try it here. So it's called the hut. And you can see then the first thing you do, this is where the artificial intelligence bit comes in. It actually tells you, you can then use it to say which logos you like. So right, okay, I want something quite soft. I think I want something that's a bit hand drawn really. Now I do like that one. I like that one. Not so keen on that. I like that one. I do like that sort of like quite classic typeface there. I like that Elizabeth Clare. Any of these? Is there any more I like on there? Let's have another look. So let's say, do I like that one? No, not much. Okay. So we'll go through those, and then right. So then, when you've done that, you select the ones you like, and that then learns a little bit. Want a colour scheme, so I'm thinking that I probably want this pale blue or this sort of like light bluey turquoisey colour here, so I'm going to go for that colour. You can change this afterwards very easily anyway, but pick that. Now I thought of a slogan earlier, which is home is where the hut is, which I thought was quite nice. Now it starts to tell you that it's too long, but I don't think it is when you actually see it working. Now the next thing you can do is you can add an icon. Now over my years of having managed an awful lot of brand projects, I'm not a particular fan of icons. We'll search for some and I'll show you why. I don't think they're right. So we search for hut, and the icons it produces are wrong really. They're all very square. I don't really like any of those. You can look at others. You can look at roof. So we'll look at shed. See whether that brings anything. Nothing there really I like, I don't think. No, nothing there that's jumping out at me. So we'll look at cabin. See if anything comes out from that. Again, I'm looking at those and not loving any of those. And they all look a bit too simple to me really. I don't think they look like classy logos. And my advice to you would be, it's an awful lot easier if you don't have an icon with it really. So I'm gonna, I've looked at those. I'll look at one more word, which is shelter. So I'm going to look at those, and I'm going to say my advice would be to not use an icon. So at the bottom you've got the option there to skip the step. Partly because none of these look relevant. Sorry, that's a message coming in. More messages coming in. Now this gives me a load of options. I've actually already run through this, and they are completely different to the ones that I was given before. So, which is interesting. So you have a look and you see whether you like any of these. So you can scroll through. Here's what the hut is. Yeah, I quite like that one. That's got a bit about it. Not a huge fan, but don't like the one with the T that it's generated there. So then it gives me a load of options here. Now this one's quite nice. Oh, this one's, no, I like this one. So what we'll do here is you favourite it like that, and then it opens up, and you can actually start to make some tweaks to it. So for me, the hut part is actually too small. So you go to fonts here, and then you can actually increase the font size here of the one at the top. So I want that to match the width of the one below, because that's called what's called a good use of negative space. So when you come to actually use the logo, it means that it's nice and tight around it. So we'll make sure that's about the same width. You can actually decrease the letter spacing if you want, but I don't think that needs it in that particular example. Or you can change it all to upper or all lowercase there. We can tweak the colours a little bit, and I think that is probably. Let's see if one is. I don't know about you, but I really like that colour, so I think that's a really lovely one. So we're going to update the logo with this one, and then we will see a preview of it. Now this is where it's great, because you can actually see what the logo looks like in different formats. So it actually shows you what it could look like on a business card. It shows you what it could look like on a nice gold backdrop of a print there. It shows you what it would look like on a t-shirt, which actually on that doesn't, I don't think, look bad really. So what it looks like on a mobile, and then if you had a big office, what it would look like outside your office. Now that, to me, in a few seconds you've actually created something that is reasonably professional. Now I'm going to look again at that bottom part, the slogan options. I think the slogan, the letter spacing in there needs to come in a touch. Yeah, so I think that looks better. So let's preview that again. Yeah, you can see that there has come in, so that's actually a little bit tighter. So then what you can do is you can save that. So you can copy that, and then you can actually save that one. But as I favorited it, that's actually already saved into my favorites over there anyway. So I'll keep that one over here on another screen on a text folder. Come back to that in a sec. Now what you can do then, so I've done one version, so I'm going to go back now, and then it takes me along to the next ones. Hut, see more logos. Oh no, so we'll see more again. Not sure where. Oh, that's quite an interesting one. Now this one again, I think if you raise the size of that hut wording there, I think that would actually really look nice. But I like this one as well, because it's nice and surrounded. There's always a thing about using squares to enclose logos. So let's look at the fonts again. So we're going to look at that font. So the main one we're going to increase again to make it the full width, but the slogan we're going to decrease the letter spacing again. So we're going to tighten that up. So company name, so again that's full width. I think that looks quite nice. Let's preview that. How does it look on a business card? How does it look on a t-shirt? So that one to me doesn't look as good on a t-shirt. Mobile screen, that looks quite nice. It looks quite classy. And then outside an office, so if you're looking for something like that that's got to turn into signage, then that enclosing square actually I think really does make it quite nice. So again, we'll copy that, paste that onto another page. So what I'm actually going to do is share these with a friend of mine, the one I'm doing it for. So we'll close that, then we'll go back. We're going to create another option. Let's say we can do one that's we'll do one that will change the colours completely. So see more logos. Now that's the one I want. That's the one I really like. See, that's already learned. You see, that's learned now, from its artificial intelligence, it's learned that when I've been modifying it, I've actually made that the full width. So I'm going to change the fonts, make that bottom one a little bit bigger, slogan a little bit wider, a tiny bit wider again. That's probably too far. Make the point size one up. So that's nice. And then I'm going to change the colour. Let's have a completely different colour. And you can see there, that doesn't really suit that type of building we were looking at, does it? But I think something like that, depending on how you fitted out the inside of it, you could have fitted out the inside of it with sort of lovely soft purples and pastels. And again, let's see how that fits in. There you go, that's not on that. That is it on there. On a t-shirt. So again, that looks quite nice on a t-shirt, I think. It will look nice on that screen. It looks really high tech on the screen there. And on a sign, again, I think it looks, well, you can see there that to me, where when it's being used like that, it does, the typography starts to get a little bit weak. So might go back to that font, and then actually the company name font. So you could actually then, if you wanted to, change it to be sans serif there, which means it's one of the sort of like bolder fonts. I don't know what's happened there, but it seems to have used one of these half invisible fonts. That's quite chunky. If you had a sort of like more chunky, squarer format building, you might want to use something like that. That's quite soft. So let's see if there's any more options on there. But each of these is usable. Now, actually, we could try a handwritten one. Now that's getting quite nice. That's getting really quite nice. Let's see if there's any more beyond there. Now this is where it starts to let itself down. This is, as a typographer, you look at that and you see the space between the U and the T. It's lovely, but that space between the U and the T just doesn't work. It's actually, it's pretty bad typography. It's nowhere near as bad on there because they're joined. So I'm going to update it with that version, and then we're going to preview that. See, that to me already looks better on there. But this is a great thing about design. It's completely and utterly subjective. You decide whether you like something or not. So we'll look at the other options on there, see what else it will show us. That still looks pretty cool on there. Looks nicer on that t-shirt. And then we can share that. So let's have a look at what we've got. So I'll show you those in new tabs. There's option 1. Well, no, option 3 actually, to be honest. And that's the other good thing actually, is if you actually share this and tell someone else about it, you get $20 towards your next project as well. Here's the second option. And here's the third option. So in a few minutes you've got 3 options, all quite different, all professional and all usable, I think. Yeah, they're not going to be the next Nike, possibly, but they lift you above the norm and they create something that is incredibly professional, in my opinion. So if you then wanted to use it, you could then actually, you can just go back to here and you can literally just go straight along and think, right, I'll have a bit of that one. So you go back to your favourites, and then you can actually just buy that here. That's how easy it is to do. If you want it, you can just download it straight away. So, I'm not sure what's gone wrong there. But, so my advice would be, if you want to pick one of these, go back to these 3 options. I would actually print them out and stick them on the wall, because the problem with logos is you can get bored of them quite quickly. There's a difference between a pop song and an album track, is that the one you like instantly isn't necessarily the one that grows on you. So I would stick them on the wall, print them out, stick them on the wall, and stare at them for a little while, for a couple of days, and see which ones actually grow on you. And if you start to like them more and more, then they're definitely the right choice. But that's it. That's LogoJoy. Dead easy to use. Really lovely, simple package. Does create stuff I think that's usable. And is, for me, it's by far the best one out there. I've tried loads of these. I've tried lots of people on Fiverr and things trying to get cheap logos, But this one, you can, as long as you've got a decent eye, you know what you like, you can actually create something that's really good, really usable. So go along and have a play. Okay, cheers.